Thank you for that. Okay, so that's all the paperwork taken care of. You should have in front of you your new book. Everyone has one? Yeah? It has the semester 1 stuff in it as well. I thought it's probably better for you to have all these in one book rather than in two. No, just one or two small changes, nothing major. What else was I saying? Oh yeah, so you have in front of you as well you have in front of you as well coursework 1. Yeah, here it is here. So we'll spend a bit of time in class on this, and I put it on Moodle as well, and there's a link on Moodle to submit when you're ready. Don't do it until you're ready, because you can only submit once on Moodle, okay? And the deadline is exactly 2 weeks from today, this class at 9 o'clock. Okay. You can submit it early, of course, but maybe you want to wait until we have a little bit of a tutorial first, okay? And I'll talk about using Excel, using Word, and all this type of stuff then, okay? So the tutorial this week, you should bring your laptop, all right? Okay, so what I was going to do first before we go into new stuff, because the final exam includes semester 1 material, and because it's very likely the person who wrote your final exam is the same person who wrote this exam, I think it's a good idea if we do this exam that you sat first, so you can see all the answers and make sure everything's okay. All right. So we're going to run through the maths exam then, and before you ask, I've corrected exactly one paper, so it was all right actually. It was all right. I'll tell you whose it was actually. No, I'll tell you exactly who it was. In section B1, there was a question where you had to sketch a quadratic. You remember, sketch a quadratic. Who plotted the quadratic by making a table? That's who I corrected first. Don't be shy. Must have been somebody. Remember, you made a table. You got the x and the y. You joined up the dots. Was it you? Was it you?
Why would you
didn't do it? Yeah, but that's why I want to ask that person right now. Because the question only asks for a sketch.
Yeah. Just find the intercept of the vertex.
Yep. I'm curious to know too. Right, A1. No. Nobody wants to. It's not a bad thing. Nobody wants to press up. No? Was it you? Oh, the book. Amjad, can you get a copy of the maths book? Or Ahmed, actually, you're on the outside. Thanks, Ahmed. If you can give that to Michelle, thanks. Right, so let's have a look at A1 now. So A1 was find the equation of the line through the point minus 6, 11, and it's perpendicular to 3x plus 2y plus 1 equals 0. So it's perpendicular to that. So first things first, you change this into 2y equals minus 3x minus 1. Y equals minus 3 over 2x minus 1 over 2. So the slope is 2 over 3. Yeah, the slope of that one is minus 2 over 3. So the one that we want is 2 over 3. So we have y equals 2 over 3x plus c. Sub in our point. 11 equals minus 4 plus c. C equals 15. Y equals 2/3 x plus 15. 2/3 x minus y plus 15 equals 0. If you left your answer like this, you didn't get full marks, which some of you did. Was that you, Ahmed? You don't get full marks because the question said they should be integers. So the last thing you were supposed to do was to multiply by 3. 2x minus 3y plus 45 equals 0.
Is it okay if you left y as positive and then...
Yeah, that's fine. And in fact, you could have had a multiple of this. You could have had 4x, 6y, 90. It only mattered that they were integers. Guys, come on, what's all the talking? What's the problem with this? Are you talking about how you screwed up on question 1? You screwed up on this? Did you stop here?
Yeah.
Then you got 3 out of 4. Congrats.
I think I did much better. Everything by C except C, and I'm not sure.
Oh, that's foolish. No.
I know.
Right. There was one final mark for getting this. So if you got the here, that's 3 out of 4. And the last mark was for this. Okay. I notice in exams, even if the first question isn't that difficult, it's very poorly answered because it is the first question. You know, it's the same in the physics exam as well. You know, first question is poorly answered. Right. Second one, I think people did quite well. It's the trade. A student plays 2 games of tennis. The probability she wins the first game is 3/5. So that means the loss is 2/5. And then if she wins the first game, the second win is 7/10, which means that's 3/10. And if she does not win the first game, the probability she wins the second game is 3/8. So that one is 5/8. And what's the probability she wins both? So probability of a double win. Is that all?
3 over 5 times 7 over 10.
Oh yeah, okay. 3/5 times. Explains why a lot of people got this right when I was glancing through them. 21 over 50. You could leave your answer like that, or if you left your answer as a decimal, that's fine too. 0.42. Could even have said 42% if you wanted. All is fine for that. I think this one was answered quite well. I don't think it caused any major problems. Okay, so let's have a look at A3. Is it okay? Question?
Yeah.
How many marks?
What was the question again?
Part A for 2 marks was to draw the tree. And part B was this calculation for another 2 marks.
What did it say?
It said, do you want me to read the story or just the question
The
part?
question.
Okay, A, draw and label a tree diagram. B, find the probability the student wins both games.
So it's not like win, lost, win.
No.
Wins both games. So
Yeah.
win-win.
Did you it sounds like you did wins at least one game. Yeah. Reading would be a vital skill in the exam. Really essential. Okay. So that sounds like you've lost this too. Yep. Okay. A3. It maybe just took you a while to warm up in the exam. Let's see. 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 7x plus k is divided by x plus 2. The remainder is 4k.
Remainder here.
Yeah, we want to find the value of k. So it's 2 times minus 2 cubed plus 5 times minus 2 squared. 7 times minus 2 plus k equals the remainder, which is 4k. 2, 4, 8, 16 minus 16 plus 20 plus 14 equals 3k. So that's 18 equals 3k. So k equals 6. A little bit of work for 3 marks. Please Please write down anything you feel you need to as we're revising this, okay? You note to self in your notebook. RTFQ. Yeah? Okay. A4. This one, this is a bit tricky for a lot of you. P plus 6x power 6. The coefficient of x4 is 12 times larger than x cubed. So this coefficient is 12 times that coefficient. It's 12 times bigger than that. Isn't that what they said? Yeah. So, or another way you can think about it is if you divide this one by 12, you should get that. But I think most people said this one is 12 times that one. So first let's get the x4 coefficient and then the x3 coefficient. And one of them, the one on this side, is 12, is multiplied by 12. So here, let's put in the x4 coefficient. So there'll be a 6c for both anyways, that's fine. Now, we want x4. So I'll put a 4 or 2. It doesn't really matter. I'll put it as a 4. And then I need a 6 and a p here. I won't bother writing down the x. Well, what goes on the 6?
2.
No.
4.
Must be 4 because this guy here is power 4. And some people mix that up. That's then a 2. This is a 3. And there's a p and there's a 6. And this one has to be a 3. And then has to be a 3 as well. So what you can do is you can divide that with that. You can divide that with that. And that actually just makes 6. And then you can divide 12 and 12 and 6c3 here. So in total you get 6c4 over 12 6c3 times 6 is equal to p. So we can put that in on the calculator. Let's see what we get here. This one was 4 marks. Yeah.
I messed this one up.
What's that?
I messed this one up.
For sure?
Yeah.
What you do wrong?
Powers.
What is it? 3 over 8, thank you. 3/8, huh? Yeah, because of the 12, is it? Anyways, we'll continue now. So 5 next, the log question. I'll just double check that there now. I have to, I'm sorry.
It is say 3 over 8.
Fine, okay.
I checked.
Why did you take her word for it?
No, it was more that at least 2 of you said it. Okay, log base 3 4x minus log base 3 x minus 5 equals 2. And remember, x has to be bigger than 5.
Yeah.
So if you got 2 answers, only the one that's bigger than 5 will do. Yeah? Alright, so first things first here, we have log 3 4x over x minus 5 equals 2. Second rule of logs. 3 to the power of 2 is equal to 4x over x minus 5. So 9 times x minus 5 equals 4x. So 9x minus 45 equals 4x. So 5x equals 45. So x equals 9. So 9 is the answer for this one, which is more than 5. Okay? Right, I think a few of you had trouble with that, it seemed, in the exam. Yeah, write this down if you need to. We're doing the cost one next.
Sir, for the final, are we going to have the same amount of time as the end of semester?
Oh, I don't know how to double check that. I think you have more.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I always said the time was a problem with the maths exam. Yeah? That one was 4. Why? Is that how many you lost? Okay. Okay, continue?
Yes.
Continue? Yep, okay. Right, 6 now. So you've got 2 cos theta plus 75 degrees equals 1. Yeah? First things first, you should divide by the 2. And what's cos inverse a half now? 60?
Yeah,
60? 60 or 300.
Yeah.
So that means theta equals minus 15 or 225. So that means theta equals 345 or 225. 5 marks for that one. Some of you only got one of those 2 answers. But there's 2 answers here and only 2, yeah? I added 360 because we're not allowed negative in this answer. So, anything else? No? That was the biggest question so far for 5 marks. Can I scroll down? No? Okay? Scroll down now? Yeah. So A7. You have y equals e2x minus log x. Find the derivative at 0.6. So dy dx equals 2e2x minus 1 over x. So you want to know what it is at 0.6. So you have to put in 0.6 to this. So that'd be 2e1.2 minus 1 over 0.6. So if we just put this on the calculator, let's see what we get. 2e1.2 minus 1 over 0.6. It says 2 significant figures, so the answer is 5.0, which I think a lot of you got for 4 marks. Then you didn't get full marks on this. Why'd you do that? No, this was 5. Yeah, you said, should you round up? And I said, yes, you should. So when you round this up, what do you get? 5. So what your problem is, you don't know how to round up. That's the problem. Okay, A8. Right. Y equals x cubed minus 4x squared plus 7x minus 1, and we want the tangent at 2, 5. So first we need the derivative. That's 3x squared minus 8x plus 7, and it's at the point 2, 5. So if I put in 2, 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12 minus 16 plus 7. So that's 3, is it?
Yeah.
So you have y equals 3x plus c, and the point is 5, 2. Sorry, 2, 5. So that's 5 equals 6 plus c, so c equals minus 1.
Yes.
So y equals 3x minus 1 is the answer for that one. That one was 4 for that one. Yeah. The tree. How'd you get 3 though? Well, 3 is the right slope. You must have substituted. How else would you have gotten the 3? Ah, don't worry, I'll check it anyways. But I mean, if you got the 3, you got it. So, okay. 9. We had to integrate 3 minus x squared dx, which is the same as integrating 9 minus 6x squared plus x4 when you expand. So the answer is 9x minus 6x cubed over 3 plus x5 over 5, and I know at least one of you forgot your c. So 9x minus 2x cubed plus 1/5 x5 plus c. And at least one of you forgot the c, I know that. A10. That one was a 4. 0 pi over 6 cos x plus 18x dx. This question wasn't answered so well. That's sine x plus 9x squared. And you put in 0 and pi over 6. 0, 0 for both, so it's only really the pi over 6 that you care about. So that's sine pi over 6 plus 9 pi over 6 squared. What's sine pi over 6 now?
No. They said they wanted an exact form.
Yeah.
I know.
It's.
Oops. Radians. A half. So a half plus 9 pi squared over 36, which is a half plus pi squared over 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many of you continued? A few of you. You all lost a mark because this is the exact answer. Yeah, you got the sign wrong. I remember some people did that too. That's also a problem. Yeah, do. A lot of you wrote a decimal answer.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not what the word exact means. That's the opposite of exact.
I wrote this.
Yeah, if you continued to write the decimal, then you lost a mark. Oh, 4 marks. Why? Well, because the decimal can't be exact because you have to stop writing at some digit, which means you're not accurate, you know? Like, for example, here, this is exactly right, and any answer you write here, the moment you stop, it's no longer exact. Now, in this case, it's not so bad because at least you could do this, you know, but that's not always possible, like with a number like this. This is exactly right. This is only roughly right. Approximately right, you know. So a lot of you, I don't know, a lot of you made a mistake with that one. So it should have been a half plus pi squared over 4. Okay. On to section B now. first part of B1 was a simultaneous equation to get you started. And it was actually a nice simultaneous, although they kind of made you rearrange it a little bit. It's minus 3x plus 11, but they wrote 11 minus 3x, and y equals 2x minus 9. And this is actually fine. You can do the bottom minus the top. So that's 0. That's 5x minus 20. So you get 5x equals 20. So then x equals 4.
Yeah.
And then y would be 2 times 4 minus 9. So y is minus 1. Because it's 8 minus 9. It's a 3-mark question. That was part A. Yeah, oh yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, so you said minus 3x plus 11 equals 2x minus 9. Yeah, fine. I think most people, maybe even everybody got this right, I think. B. Solve 6x squared minus 13x minus 63 less than or equal to 0. Now, let's see if we can fake factorize. Mode 53. 6 minus 13 minus 63. Okay, so the first one is 2x minus 9 and 3x plus 7. You didn't even have to do that. But if you just use the minus b formula, that's fine. That's fine. So one way or another, you should get 2 answers here. 9 over 2 and minus 7 over 3. Yeah? And we're looking at this. I think a lot of you got this. You can give the answer 2 ways. You can either say x is bigger than this and smaller than this, or between the two. Yeah. So I think some of you did. It doesn't matter. Both are fine. That part was 4 marks.
The one before
was 3 marks. Okay. So that was all right. Part C now. Complete the square. X squared plus 6x plus 4. That is x plus 3 squared minus 5. And I think most of you got that as well. And now, this is where people screwed up. Oh. Okay, I understand why you screwed up, and I forgive you. Most of you use the quadratic formula next, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody actually solve by rearranging this? No? Yeah, but that's what you were supposed to do. I understand why you screwed this up, and I forgive you. The question never said use completing the square to solve. The question opened up with the word hence, which means you were supposed to use what you got previously to continue.
what was the question?
It said hence solve this. Or rather, they said hence solve this. Part 1 was complete the square, and part 2 solve for x.
If they hadn't put hence and
Yeah.
by completing the square, it would be nicer.
If they hadn't put hence,
And you still
if they hadn't put hence, you could have solved it anyway. Yeah. But they put hence in bold. So they really wanted you to link it to the last one. It's not really a big deal because there was only 1 mark. So it's not a big deal. It seems like a couple of words have caught people out in this exam. And this is good because it's a 10% exam, not a 70% exam. So there's at least 2 words that people were not familiar with enough for the exam. Hence, exact and hence. Okay? So exact means they want the answer left in this form, not decimal. And hence means you must use the previous answer to continue into the next part. Okay? Now, if they want to give you the choice of using the previous answer, but you don't have to use the previous answer, what's the expression for that? Does anyone know? Please? No. I think you can sometimes have hence or otherwise. Is this New English?
Why otherwise?
Mean continue from the last one or otherwise don't. Like,
Being used together.
as one opening of a sentence. Yeah. Hence or otherwise solve. Amjad, your English is not perfect, so you should be listening carefully and making notes, okay? I've just given you 3 important words for the exam. Exact, hence, and hence or otherwise. Okay? So this one here means you must use the last answer. This one here means you could use the last answer. Okay? And this one here means not decimal. Now, I'm sure there's at least one there that you don't know. So I think it's a good idea if you write this down. At least the ones you didn't know. So if you screwed up exact, you should write that down. Or hence or otherwise. I will ask NCUK to give the students the +1 mark for this if they did quadratic, but they might say it's 1 mark and it's a 10% exam, so. I really would have preferred if in the question they said hence solve, and then in brackets they said do not use the quadratic formula, something like this. But we'll see what they say anyways. Okay. So what you were to have here is this equals this. Then you square root. And so you have x equals -3 plus or minus root 5. Okay. Right, that was part 2. Part 3 is you had to sketch this. X, Y. Now it says you must clearly show where it crosses the X and the Y and the stationary point. So it crosses the Y at 4. And are these both negative? -3 minus root 5 is definitely negative. I think they're both negative, yeah. So there's -3 minus root 5, and there's -3 plus root 5. And then the vertex is down here at -3 minus 5. And we have our U shape like this. And that's the full marks there for that, 3 marks.
We have to show the arrows.
No. Some people forgot to include the 4. Some people forgot to include the vertex. Some people, well, at least one person didn't sketch and instead plotted with a couple of few points. This one was 3.
It's 1 mark for the vertex.
1 mark for the shape. 1 mark for the stationary point and 1 mark for the XY intercepts. So like if you left out the one of the intercepts, you get 2 out of 3. If you left out the vertex, you get 2 out of 3. I think one business student drew it like this, so obviously they didn't get the shape mark. Yeah. And at least one person only drew half the quadratic. So somebody drew just this much of the quadratic. So I took a mark. I didn't give the shape mark for that because that kind of looks like an exponential, it's not a quadratic. So, okay, part D. Surprised a few of you in the exam had trouble with this long division. So what you were supposed to have first here is x. That's x cubed minus 6x.
Yeah.
Now, when you subtract, they cancel, and they cancel, leaving you with minus 5x squared plus 30. So the last one here is minus 5. That's minus 5x squared plus 30 and done for 2 marks. Not something that people got very confused about in the exam. Did you get this, Ahmed? Okay, good. What happened?
I didn't get the cancelling of the...
I think a lot of people didn't get it.
If I got the top correct...
Yeah, I think the marks were 1 for each correct division. So it was a 2-mark question. So if you wrote the x here and got this part, then that's 1 mark. So 1 out of 2 then. But good enough, it'll have to do. B2. So B2 opened up with a probability question. Probability a student is late is 11p minus 7, and that they're not late is 9p minus 5. Find the value of p. Guys, come on, listen. Find the value of p. So, yeah, you have to add that up and it equals to 1. So that's 20p minus 12 equals 1, wasn't it? So 20p equals 13. So p is 13 over 20. Okay. Find the probability that they're late exactly once. Now this is what you were thinking earlier. You can be on time or late, on time or late, on time or late. Late exactly once means on time and late, or late and on time. What's the probability of being... Oh, we have to work it out, don't we? Yeah. So we have to go back to the start here and put 13 over 20 into this. So this one here was late. And this one here was on time. So it's 11 times 13 over 20 minus 7. So 11 times 13 over 20 minus 7. So that's 3/20. So that's 3/20. So that means the other one has to be 17/20. So being late is 3/20. So that's 3/20, and that's 3/20. That's 17/20. 17/20. So the probability, it's 17 over 20 times 3 over 20 times 2, because the other branch is the same. So just to save time, you could do multiply by 2. You don't have to do that. You can just add them together if you want. So let me see. 2 goes into that 10 times. 20 times 10 is 200. 30, 51 over 200, I think. Yeah? So that's another 2 marks and 3 marks. Yep. Okay. B was a trigonometry question now. You've got this triangle and this triangle. This here is 30. This is theta. This is 12. This is 10. This is root 84. And this is k root 5. And the question is, what is cos theta? So this is what rule? cosine rule. 84, root 84 squared is 84 equals 12 squared plus 10 squared minus twice 12 by 10 cos theta. So cos theta is 84 minus 144 minus 100 over minus 240. So let's calculate that. 84 minus 144 minus 100 over minus 240. 2/3 is the cos theta. Get sine theta. Well, probably the easiest way to get sine theta, I mean there's two ways. You can draw a right angle triangle with adjacent 2, opposite 3, and hypotenuse would be root 9 minus 4 is 5. So sine theta is root 5 over 3. Another way to get this is you can remember sine squared plus cos squared equals 1. So that means sine squared theta is 1 minus cos squared theta. So sine theta is plus or minus the root of 1 minus 4 over 9, which is plus or minus 5 over 9, which is plus or minus 5 over 3. And we choose the plus because our theta, you can see it's clearly acute in the picture. And you know that sine is, you want sine to be positive if it's acute. The theta is clearly between 0 and 90.
Do I get the mark if I didn't draw the right angle?
And how'd you get, you just wrote down the answer.
I gave the formula.
Sine squared plus cos squared equals 1.
No, like sine is A over B.
Yeah, that's fine.
It causes A over B.
Maybe. I'll see what you wrote. But, yeah, okay. I'll see what you wrote. Might be okay, actually. You basically said what sine and cos are
I just wrote down the formula.
for sine and cos. That might be okay. Yeah. All right. Find the angle ADC. Okay. So we want to use the sine rule here. So sine angle ADC over 10 equals sine theta over root 84. So the angle sine ADC is sine theta over root 84 times 10, but we know sine theta. We just worked it out one moment ago. It's root 5 over 3 over root 84 times 10. So, let's see, root 5 over 3 times 10 divided by root 84, shift sine inverse, let's put in degrees, 71.8? No, did I mistype? Okay, well, let me check. Watch what I'm typing. Root 5 over 3. That's the sine theta, yes? Divided by root 84. Yes? Times 10? Yes? And then sine inverse. Okay, that's a different number now. Let's see. Great. 54.4 then. So angle ADC is 54.4 degrees. Okay?
How many marks did you get?
That was 2.
And the one before?
2. Yeah? Continue. So, the last part, or not, the last part is that they tell you that this area is twice as big as that area. So, that means that if you calculate the smaller area and multiply it by 2, it should equal the bigger area. So the bigger area is a half 12 times root 84 sine, whatever we just got there, 54.4. That's equal to a half 10, and we have to multiply it by 2, let's not forget. A half 10 by k root 5 by sine 30. So it's just using that, you know, that area formula, half AB sine C on each triangle, and multiplying one of them by 2. So I think we can clean this up a lot. So this will be 6 root 84, and sine 54.4, we worked it out, is root 5 over 3 times 10 over root 84. And these cancel. What's sine 30?
So can I see
Yeah?
sine 30 is a half? Can I see the diagram?
Okay. So I said, I went with this one.
Okay.
A half 12 by root 84 by sine of that.
But that's not root 5 over 3.
Actually, we know this one, don't we?
We know that.
Well, we know this and we know this.
No, we know that sine theta is.
Yeah, actually that would be a little bit easier, then I don't have so many square roots. I'm going to look at, watch carefully, a half 12 by 10 by sine theta. And we worked out sine theta earlier. What was it? Root 5 over 3. That's equal to twice a half by 10 by k root 5 by sine 30. Okay, so 2 and the half cancel. What else cancels here? A half by 12 is 6. 3 into 6 goes twice. 2 by 10 is 20. So I have 20 root 5. Sine 30 is a half.
Yeah.
So a half by 10 is 5 root 5k. Well, that's nice again because root 5 and root 5 cancel. And then 5 into 20? 4. So k is 4 for this one. There's 3 marks for that. Okay. Right, APGP next.
That's for 4 marks.
The last one was for 3. Okay. In an arithmetic series, the first term is minus 75, and the 14th term is half the common difference. So the 14th term is A plus n minus 1 d equals a half d.
Yeah.
So that's 25 over 2 d equals 75. 25 d equals 6, I think. Yeah. 2 marks. And then the next part is find the sum of the first 30 terms. So that's n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1, which is 29, d. So that's 15 times minus 150 plus 29 times 6, 360.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot for, kind of a little for 3 marks. This one was 3 marks and that one was 2 marks. I think it should have been the other way around, really. It should have been 3 marks first and 2 marks second. Okay. B. In a geometric series, the third term, a or squared, is equal to 80, and the sixth term, a or 5, is equal to 156 and a quarter. Okay. The question is find the a and the or for 3 and 2 marks. So basically solve this for 5 marks. I'll divide. So if I divide, I get or cubed equals whatever 156.25 over 80 is. So then cube root in that, and I already have the or. So shift cube root 1/5. You have, is it an exact answer? 5 over 4 exactly. Great, okay. And then what I can do is I can sub that back into here. So I have a times 25 over 16 equals 80. So the a is whatever 80 times 16 over 25 is. So 80 times 16 divided by 25 is 256 over 5. And that's 5 marks there. How many terms are needed for the sum of the series to exceed 30,000? So we want to know when will Sn be bigger than 30,000. I think it was around about 13 or something, wasn't it? Was it that much? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So Sn. The formula for Sn is A 1 minus or power n over 1 minus or. And we want that to be more than 30,000. Now, what I'll do to clean this up a little bit, where's my blue gone? This whole thing here, this part, I can put that in on the calculator. Actually, do you know what? Maybe even the same. No, I'll just put that in first. I won't do too much. So 256 over 5 divided by 1 minus 5 over 4. So that's minus 1,024 over 5. So what I'll do is I'll say that's 1 minus 5 over 4 power n less than 30,000 times, and then you flip that upside down. Minus 9375 over 64. Now we still have to do a bit of rearranging, so I'll swap that with that. So I get 1 plus 9375 over 64 needs to be less than minus 5 over 4 power n. So let's see. 9439 over 64 less than 5 over 4 power n. So what I can do, I can put log. In fact, I could even put log base 5 over 4 if I really want to save time. Because here, 5 over 4 to what power gives me 5 over 4 power n? Well, it's n. So n must be bigger than, how do I change, oh here we go, log 5 over 4 that. Oh, very good, 22.37. So 22.37, so n must be bigger than or equal to 23. So 23 is the answer for this one. Huh? That part was 4. So you need at least 23 terms. Yeah. Did you not get this, Ahmed? Are you sure? Okay. Last part for 1 mark. Why is it not possible to find the sum to infinity? Sn diverges because or is 5 over 4, and since or is not, you can write this many ways, it's not between minus 1 and 1, that means, well, I'll just write like this, so Sn diverges because or is 5 over 4, and that means or is not belonging to minus 1 to 1. Our sentence or whatever is fine, yeah. Or you could have said, some people said or is bigger than 1. It's outside the range minus 1 to 1 or whatever. There's many ways you could write this. Okay, so that was B3. B4 is exponential and logs. Yeah, and that B part with the M in it was not answered well. There was an equation where you had M5, 6M, and it was not answered well. Okay, B4. A survey is carried out on the population growth in a village. The number n who live in the village after t years began is given by this formula. N equals 1680 e power 0.04. So already I can see they misused their English here. They shouldn't say that the population is given by this formula. They should say, well, what verb could they use? I think it would have been better if they said the population is modeled by this formula. But you can't say given by this formula, because this formula could give you a decimal.
Yes.
Which you can't really have. So it would have been better if they said is modeled by this formula or something along those lines. Anyways, state the number of people at the start of the survey.
Just 1680.
Yeah, so the number of people at the beginning is 1680 because you put time as 0. Part 2, how many people are there after 2 years? So you just sub in 2. Just 1 mark for the first part.
Sir, it's 0.04.
Oh, sorry, thank you. I guess I multiplied by 2 in my head already. So, like that, yeah. Shift E 0.08. Now, this is quite the pickle.
I wrote 1820.
Yeah, because once you have said 3 significant figures around.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose it doesn't actually matter either way, because if you choose to round up, that's 1820, because you might say, well, it's closer to this than the other way. But hang on, I'm speaking. Listen. Perhaps you'll get the answer if you let me finish. So I said, or you might say, you might choose to round up because this is closer to this. But then you might say, well, you haven't actually fully achieved the 20th person yet, so you might choose to round down. But in both cases, you still have to round off again, because I stressed so many times the answer must be 3 significant figures. So this is 182, and this is also 182. So that's the answer, regardless if you round it up or down here. So 1820 is the answer. And it doesn't matter doesn't matter about your choice here. Yeah. Okay. 2 marks. Yeah.
It's a realistic question, but when you round up, it doesn't mean it's realistic.
Round up and round down are both fine for this question. But you must round at the end, because I told you for the exam, the final answer is always 3 significant figures. Yeah. Okay. Part 3. Find an expression for the derivative, dn dt. Again, I think everybody did okay with this. It's 1680 times 0.04 e 0.04 t. And in fact, they didn't even care if you multiplied those 2 numbers together. So you could have actually left it like that. What does the MDT tell us for 1 mark?
Slope.
Yeah, but for this particular story.
How much the population grows?
Yeah, it's the rate of growth of the population per year.
Yeah.
So, a couple of keywords I would have liked, you don't have to have exactly like this. rate or a word like rate, and growth or increase, or a word like growth or increase. Kind of key for this.
Is it okay to say the amount?
Give us the full sentence.
The amount of growth per year. The amount of growth, population growth per year.
I think that might be okay.
That's
Yeah, yeah. It's how quickly it grows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be okay. Right. Find the t for when the derivative is 90. So they want you to solve this equals 90. Okay, so what's the first thing to do here? Take these two under here. And let's put that in a calculator. So that's 90 over 0.04 over 1680. 75 over 56.
Low.
Yeah. And then next thing to do is log. ln, ln. Because that cancels that. And then lastly, divide by 0.04. So the t is log the answer I just got, divided by 0.04, 7.3 years, and if you left it at 7.3, that's fine. In the market scheme, it's 7.3. If some people converted it into months, I guess that's okay. If you said 7 years and 3 months, that's not okay. Right. It's 7 years and 3.6 months. Yes? Did you say 7.3?
No, I left this after I asked you. I said 7.3.
Good, because I think you were thinking of 7 years and 3 months,
Yeah.
possibly. And aren't you glad you didn't do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, B. This question was, I think, badly answered. 4m power 5 times 6m over cube root 512 m6 equals 1 over 27. Okay?
So you add the powers, right? And then you
The order's not so important. Guys, listen. Listen, question? So, first what I'll do is I'll take care of the top line. Okay, so 4 times 6 is 24. And m5 times m is m6. And then here at the bottom, this is 512 power a third and m6 power a third. So that becomes m2. And m6 over m squared is m4. Now, what number multiplies by itself 3 times to get 512? Is there such a number?
8.
Oops, it's 8. Okay. Okay, it's 8. So this works out to be 8, and 8 goes into 24 3 times. So you end up getting 3m4 equals 1 over 27. At least one person brought the 3 to the top line over here. Bring it down. 27 times 3, 20, 40, 60, 81. So what's m? M is plus or minus 1 over 3.
Yeah.
You need the plus or the minus because you're taking the square root twice. So there's a plus minus. Do you want to say any plus? Were you the one who put the 3 on the top? Okay. Ahmed, was it you that put the 3 on the top? Somebody moved the 3 to the top here. Right, C. Last part in this one. How are we doing? Yeah. A half log base 2, 36. Plus 2, log base 2, 32, minus log base 2, 24.
Bring the power.
Guys, are we listening? So, I'll bring the coefficients into the power. So that's 36 power half, which is 6, and that's 32 squared, and that just stays the same. So that's log base 2 6 plus log base 2 whatever 32, what is it? Minus log base 2 24. So now we can say add means you can multiply, and minus means you can divide. 6 into 6 once, 6 into 24 4 times. Yeah, and 4 into 1024 is 256. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. 8, is it? 2 to what power makes 256? It's 8. What? It's kind of a lot for 3 marks. Yeah. Yeah.
B5.
Huh?
There's something wrong with B5.
We'll see now. We'll see now. Can I scroll down? So B5 was the cube one, the cuboid. So you had the width and the length and the height, and the question was find an expression for the height, and you know the volume. So the volume was, you know,
Length.
side, yeah, the side by the side by the side. I'm not going to properly write it down. The 3 lengths. So you have 6804 is 3.5x by 4x by h.
Yeah.
So h is 6804 over 14x squared. 3.5 times 4 is 14, I think, isn't it? Does 6804 over 14 simplify? It does. Does. What do you get? 95, what? You multiplied, didn't you?
486.
486 over x squared.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, calculate the volume in terms of x. So volume equals 3.5x by 4x by h, which is 486 over x squared. 3.5 by 4 is 14. Now, what is 14 by 486? Oh. Something went wrong here, didn't it?
680
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I screwed this up. Yeah, I screwed this up, sorry. Is that what you did?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I misread the question. The surface area, not the volume.
Thank you.
Okay, is 6804. Let's start this one again from the top. Okay, so the surface area is 6804. So you have 2 rectangles on the front and the back. So that's 2 times 3.5x times h. That's the front and the back. Then what else have you got? You've got a left and a right. So that's 2 4x times h. Guys, I'm not continuing if you're talking. I'm just going to wait. And then you have the top and the bottom. So that's 2 3.5x by 4x. So the first one is front and back. The second one is the left and the right. And the last one is the top and the bottom. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. So 6804 equals 7xh plus 8xh plus that's 728x squared. I can clean this up more. That's 6804 equals 15xh plus 28x squared. Now, what am I looking for? The h. So that's 6804 minus 28x squared equals 15xh. So h is 6804 minus 28x squared over 15x.
Yes, that's right. You see, it won't. It won't.
It
be the
won't
same
give.
as-
Okay,
yeah.
let's see. All right, this is. Well, let's see. Let's see. B. Ah, that was a lot of work for only 2 marks. Only 2 marks. Okay, continuing. B. So the volume is 3.5 x times 4x times h. Okay. Well, I can certainly cancel that x with that x. 4 times 3.5 is 14. So I'll get 14x times 6804 minus 28x squared over 15. What is 14 times 6804, please? 95256. And then 14 times 28?
392.
There's an x there and an x cubed there. Sorry, man. It's looking like it's right. I think you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Because I got exactly what they wanted. There's an x there and an x cubed there.
I got the numbers right. It's just the powers on the x's.
Yeah. Did you possibly have 65256 x squared minus 392 x4
Yeah.
over 15x?
Yeah.
Could have divided everything by x.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably. I'd say that's it. C. Find the x that gives a maximum. So we want the derivative here. So the derivative is 95256 over 15 minus 392 over 15 times 3x squared. And that should equal 0. So I'll multiply by 15 and I'll get 95256 equals 342 times 3x squared. 392, thank you. Divided by 3 times 392, that's the x squared. So the x is the square root of that. So root 95256 over 3 times 392. Yeah? 9. Okay, great. X is 9. Confirm it's a max. Second derivative here is minus 392 times 3 times 2 times x. And x is a positive, so clearly this is a negative, which makes it a max. And then finally, find the maximum volume. So you just have to sub 9 back into this expression here. So if I sub 9 back in, it's 95256 times 9 minus 392 times 9 cubed. 381. 00 cm cubed. Say again?
That's a lot for 15 minutes.
Do you think? Maybe. Well, we have one left to do, B6. And we'll get this finished, yeah. Huh?
No one did that one.
I know, someone must have. Yeah, see, there's always one weirdo in class. You know? Yes, you did too? I have at least 2 weirdos, okay? Right, B6 now. B6. You had... yeah, they were just scared of the picture, I think. You have a quadratic, which is given as y is 1/6 x squared plus 1/3 x plus a half. And you're given this, it's probably a normal, is it? At the point 3, 3. L is a normal. find the equation of this line. So part A. Right, so first I'll get the derivative. So that's 1/3 x plus 1/3. And then you have to put in x is 3. So that's 4/3. Because it's 1 plus 1/3, it's 4/3. So the slope of the normal is minus 3 over 4. So y equals minus 3 over 4x plus c. Sub in the 3. 3 equals minus 9/4 plus c. So that's 21 quarters.
Yeah.
Is that right for c?
1/4, yeah.
Doesn't simplify, right? So you have y equals minus 3/4 x plus 21/4. Part B is where does this line cross the x-axis? So that means you make y equal to 0. So you have 3/4 x equals 21/4. So 4 and 4 cancels, 3 goes into that 7 times. So it crosses the x-axis at 7, and I'm halfway finished. C, find the area shaded on the diagram. So that is, find this area. So you want to split this up into 2. This is 3 and this is 7. So the easiest thing to do, yeah, it'd be from 0 to 3, the quadratic,
0 to 7, the linear.
plus, yeah, which is just a triangle. So I'll just say that's half the base. Well, let me calculate it actually. A half 4 by 3. So whatever answer I get here, just add 6 to it. And that's my final answer. Okay. So this would be increase the power by 1, divide by the new power. So 1/18 x cubed plus 1/6 x squared plus a half x from 0 to 3 plus 6. Now we don't care about the 0 because it makes 0. So we put in 3. 3 cubed, 3 by 3 is 9, 27 over 18. Plus 36 over, what the heck is that? 6, goodness. Plus 3 over 2 plus 6. Yeah? Well, that's 6. So that's 6 and 6 is 12. So it's 27 over 18 plus 3 over 2 plus 12. Is someone going to help me out here?
15.
Finally 15? Okay. 15. What's 9? Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's 1 over 2.
Oh, sorry, thank you. That's a 9, is it? So what's the answer now then? (21 over 2).
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last part here. D. Find where the tangent of this to this curve is parallel to 5x plus 3y plus 1 equals 0.
So they have to have the same slope.
Yeah, and what is the slope of this? So that's 3y equals minus 5x minus 1, so y is minus 5 over 3x minus 1 over 3. So the m is minus 5 over 3. So the derivative here, bring down the power. Oh, we had this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So that's 1/3 x equals minus 5/3 minus 1/3 minus 6/3 minus 2. So the x is minus 6, but you're not finished because the question said what's the coordinates. So we have to put minus 6 in. So if I sub minus 6 back in, times 36 minus 6 over 3, which is 2, plus a half, 9 over 2?
Yeah.
9 over 2. So it's minus 6 and 9 over 2. Okay. So you had 2 hours to do this, and you only had to do 4 questions from section B. So we did the whole exam in time did we start at? About 15:15? An hour 15 minutes. Hour 15 only. Hour 15. Hour 20 about. So you had 40 minutes more than you needed and 2 questions less than you had to do. So should have been no time problems whatsoever. Right?
Doesn't work like that.
Doesn't. Oh, sorry, I forgot exam stress. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so if we just have a look at, before we finish the coursework here,
We're going to solve this together.
so guys, listen, please. Listen. So, for task 1, you're given this particular curve. Y equals k over x squared. And they mark off 2 points here, 1 and 3. And they want to get some areas. Now, to begin with, they want the area of each rectangle. And the way they draw it is you have a rectangle here. So I'll draw that in red. You have, isn't it? Let's see. 2 rectangles, A, B, Q, P. So that's this red one here. And then also C, D, Q, P, and A, B, Q, P. Yeah, so actually the second rectangle is like, I'll just kind of draw it over it. It's like the rectangle that includes the red one here. So in this picture, both rectangles, how big are their bases? 2, because 3 minus 1 is 2. And their heights. So there's 2 different heights here. So you have this upper height and this lower height. Which side of the rectangle is more convenient to look at, the left or the right? Well, depends which one. So for the blue triangle, the blue rectangle, it's good to know this point. Why? So you can get the height. And for the red one, which is better to know? The one here.
B,
Yeah. So what is the height here? Well, you sub in 1 into this, and what do you get? You get 1 over, k over 1 squared. Okay. And if you sub in 3 into this one, you get k over 9. Now you can see that's smaller. Why is it smaller? Well, because you're dividing by a bigger number. So could you calculate the areas now? Yeah, you could. What's the area of the red one? It's 2 times the height. So that is 2 over 9. Sorry, what am I saying? 2k over 9.
Which one?
For the red one.
For the red.
Yeah. And then what's the area for the blue one? 2 times k. So this is the area for the blue one. And then this is the area for the red one. And that's actually the first thing they ask you. What's the area of each one? However, you have to choose some value of k. Now, I think since you can choose any value of k, you should choose the most convenient value of k. And what would be the most convenient value of k?
2k.
No, pick a number for k. So they let you choose a value of k for your assignment. So what would be a convenient value of k to choose? 1, yeah. Because, then you kind of get rid of it, don't you? So that's kind of convenient. And I think you can choose this value for the rest of the question. Yeah. So that's okay. If you go to the next page, can you see in the next page? Can you see how it starts to get a little bit more complicated? So on the next page, instead of having 2 rectangles, how many have you got? 4 rectangles. Now, in both sides, you've got the same situation. You've got a big rectangle. Ahmed, please. You've got a big rectangle and a smaller one. And on the right, you've got a big one and a smaller one as well. Okay? Find the area of both upper rectangles and add them together. So what they mean in part B is find the 2 big rectangular areas. So that would be P, L, M, or. And what's the other one? R, T, U, Q. Now, part C lowers. Yeah? So that would be, what would be the first one? P, S, T, R. And the second one? R, X, Y, Q. Now, what's wrong? Now, that diagram is for part A. It's different in part B. You see, what's confusing you? So, part D requires Excel. So what I need you to have done before part D, I need you to have enough done up to part D. I need you as a homework to handwrite ABC. Okay, then we'll talk about how to use Excel in class for part D. Once we get this whole thing handwritten first, then we'll type it up at the end. Okay? So your homework for before the tutorial is to do A, B, and C. Yeah? Okay, now what are you going to ask me?
Sir, the thing is confusing because it says both upper triangles. Don't they mean the upper ones, like the small ones up there?
What do you
add
mean?
them together because they're saying find the area of both upper triangles.
Yeah, upper rectangles.
Rectangles,
Yeah.
yeah. Meaning like LSMT and TXUV, UY.
When they say upper, they don't mean the one that's on the top, they mean the one that goes from the bottom all the way to the top. So I understand why the English is confusing. Perhaps they should have used a different word like the larger and the smaller rectangle.
Yeah.
But even then it would be confusing.
And the lower one is just without the top part.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should have just told us what it is.
Yeah, well, you kind of have an idea from part A because they tell you in part A. Yeah, but they tell you in part A what upper and lower mean.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
I just saw that.
Right, just before you go, I'll take the attendance here. Can I just borrow a pen there? Oh, goodness. Let's take what the heck? Oh, why is this been printed? Okay, this I think will do. Mahmoud, Gafar, Amjad, Zara, Mo, Daniel, Daniel, if I have to call your name 3 times next time, I'm marking you absent, okay? But this time I'll mark you here. Savi, Sabrina, Alfreda, Arya, Chidi, Young Pang, Amna, Mariam. Okay, now just get the other group. Michelle, Abir, Awesome, Celine, Sophia, Mubarak, Jadira, Mohamed, no, Sabrina, no, Moza, yep, Angela, Ahmed, Sahra, Lucas, no, Neil, no, no, they've moved to this group for semester 2, and they're both not here anyways. Okay, right, I know one of them has, yes. Okay, thank you. Have that homework finished for the tutorial, okay, and bring your laptops. This video will be up if you need to catch up on anything.